Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Miles. I use they, them pronouns, and I like to talk about books. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you. So you might notice that I am in a slightly different setting than I was in before. I moved home for the summer. I am done with my junior year of college, and I'm in the same town and everything. I'll still be doing all the same old stuff, but I'm not living in the dorms anymore. And hopefully next semester, next semester I'm going to be living off campus as well. So I'll never have to live in those awful, awful dorms ever again. So I'm very excited about that. So to kind of kick off the summer, I know it's not technically summer yet, but I'm out of school. It feels like summer to me. I'm a big summer person. I love swimming. I love sunshine. I love summer reads. I love, it makes me think of when I was a kid, doing the summer reading challenges at the libraries near me. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. I don't really have a challenge or anything, but maybe I'll reward myself after reading a certain amount of books or whatever. So today I'm going to be sharing my summer TBR with you. If you're looking for more summer recommendations, I do have a summer horror recommendations video that I put up last year. So go check that out if you want recommendations and things tailored for summer. This is kind of going to be just an assortment. I have it vaguely put into categories. I have a lot of books to talk about today, so I'm going to go through them kind of quickly. I also don't have all of them in person, so I'm going to tell you I have some on Libby, some audiobooks and stuff, but let's get started. I am going to start with my nonfiction section because unexpectedly that is my biggest stack of books that I have. I'm trying to have a hot girl nonfiction summer. So if you've been watching my past few videos, you will remember this from my birthday vlog. This is the Foxfire Book of Appalachian Women. Went to a reading event for this, and I'm hoping to visit the Foxfire Museum a few times this summer. So I'm just going to continue reading this. I love what I've read from it so far. This is going to be great for my research. So that's the first one. Also going to finally finish up Are You My Mother by Alison Bechdel. At this point, I'm just going to restart it and read the whole thing again. It just wasn't the right time. I love Alison Bechdel. She's one of my favorite authors ever. Fun Home is one of my favorites. Dykes to Watch Out For is one of my favorites. But I really just, I don't know, her writing is kind of information heavy. There's a lot of words. There's a lot of philosophy and stuff in here, and it just wasn't really gelling with me when I tried to read it a few months ago. So I'm trying to finally read this. Really excited. It's about her relationship with her mother. Next I have The Vanishing Hitchhiker by Jan Harold Brunvand, and this is about American urban legends and their meanings, which I'm excited about. I think I might have mentioned this in my folklore video, so if you remember it from that, but I don't know, I've been meaning to read this one forever. Also, it's summer, it makes me think of sitting around a campfire and telling scary stories and urban legends and all of that stuff. So I think this will be a really nice summer read. I've had it forever. Next I have The Shape of Sound by Fiona Murphy. I started this last year, but it was a little heavy for me at the time. I'm really excited to revisit it. This is about a deaf woman and just kind of her experiences growing up deaf and growing and, kind of hiding that from people, and then eventually, and being bullied from it. That's kind of when I stopped reading, because if you don't know, if you're new to my channel, I'm hard of hearing. I wear hearing aids, not wearing them right now because I'm alone. So it was just hitting a little too close to home, and I just took a step back from it for a while, but I am so excited to read this. The Shape of Sound is a compelling exploration of sound, silence, and the self, a memoir about the corrosive power of secrets and how deaf experiences and disability are shaped by economics, politics, medicine, and social expectations. That sounds wonderful. I'm so excited to read this. So I'm gonna start that pretty soon. Next, I have The Library at Midnight by Alberto Manuel. I am about 100 pages into this. Very slow read. This is like history, and I don't really read that kind of stuff too much. It's kind of dense, but I am really enjoying it. And I got this, did I get this for my birthday? Did I get it for Christmas? I think I've put it in a haul at some point. Kate got it for me for Valentine's Day. I posted it on my Instagram, which is just so sweet. I love this cover, and I'm really enjoying the book so far, but I'm really wanting to finish it up. This sweet little Llewellyn Sabat Essentials, just a book on Midsummer. I'm actually going to be in Italy for Midsummer this year, so look out for that vlog. But I always I have every one of these editions, and I just like to brush up before the holiday and get in the spirit of things. I'm wanting to read Dance Macabre by Stephen King. I have had this edition forever, and I'm just obsessed with it. It's really funny. I'm not, I have a very complicated relationship with Stephen King. I am not 13 years old anymore, and I recognize that a lot of the stuff he has written is pretty problematic. However, he is my first ever introduction into horror, and somebody that really, really got me into reading. And I have heard good things about this. It's a nonfiction exploration of the horror genre. I think specifically horror film, I don't know, up until the 80s when he wrote this. So I'm just excited to check this out. I think this will be a really nice, beach read, something like that. Next, I have My Mama's Dead Squirrel, Lesbian Essays on Southern Culture. What else do I need to say? And also look at this cover. I don't really know anything about this, but I saw this cover, read the title, I was obsessed. So I'm hoping to read this summer. Next up, I have Mountain Ghost Stories and Curious Tales of Western North Carolina. I am gonna be feeling some scary stories, campfire stories, like I said earlier, and I think this will kind of give me exactly what I'm looking for. I also really like the cover, and I just think it's really cute. And I wonder if there's anything. Yeah, there are a few places that are pretty close to me on here, so that's exciting. Spooky. Very excited for this one. And then last but not least, in our nonfiction section, I have The Witch's Cabinet, Plant Lore, Sorcery, and Folk Tradition. If you watch my birthday vlog, you'll also remember this. I actually, this was so serendipitous. A couple days after I bought this book, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Our Numinous Nature, and that's just a folklore podcast. And the guy was interviewing Corinne Boyer, which was so cool. And I had never heard of her work before buying this book, and I just bought it on a whim. And now I'm so glad that I bought it. It's just a collection of essays around different plants, but they look really, really cool. I'm really excited to check this out. I just am really excited. The use of dew in folk healing and magic, plants used in cursing magic, Northwestern traditions and folk practices, graveyard plant magic. I'm just really excited to read this, so definitely wanting to be starting that one soon. I also have a few audiobooks on hold or on loan right now that are nonfiction. Silent Came the Monster by Amy Hill Harth, I think. And I just started that today. It is a nonfiction, well actually it's a weird nonfiction fiction blend. It's a telling of the 1916 New Jersey shark attacks. And that was I was obsessed with this as a kid. There was a Shark Week special that I would watch every single year, and it was on the shark attacks of 1916. So I'm really hoping this is good. It's kind of fictionalizing it. It's almost reminding me of what Almakatsu does, but I'm excited to read this. It seems fun. I don't know. It's summer. It's time for shark content. I'm also currently have on loan Year of the Tiger by Alice Wong, who edited Disability Visibility, which was an amazing collection that I read last year and I really, really enjoyed. And it's kind of just her life story and her life as an activist. I'm really, really excited to check that out. Also, Enchantment by Catherine May. She wrote, what is it called? Oh, Wintering. She wrote Wintering, which was a nonfiction kind of like self-help ebook that I really, really loved. And this seems to be similar. It's just like how to find enchantment in your life again. And I think I could need that. So, and then to ease us into our horror section, I have something that's kind of nonfiction and horror. I bought this last summer and I never read it, which is so funny. Paperbacks from Hell by Grady Hendrix. I have been thinking about making a video that's like 5-star ratings I regret, but I'm not trying to like really call people out or anything. I don't know. However, Grady Hendrix would be the star of that video. I don't know, very similar way that I feel about Stephen King, where it's like, okay, well, you did something for me, you like helped open my eyes to this genre, but oof, looking back on things, like this is not good. However, also similar to Stephen King, I'm interested in this nonfiction look at horror, especially like looking at these horror paperbacks because I have such a love and appreciation for them. So I'm really, really excited to look through this. It looks like it won't be a long read at all. And, you know, it's mostly a lot of really cool pictures and stuff of just some really cool paperbacks. There's also a store really close to me that sells a lot of the new Valancourt editions of the books that he writes about in there. So I'm excited to kind of follow that up with that. Next, I have White Shark by Peter Benchley, who wrote Jaws. I started this last summer just sitting by the pool. This book is fucking crazy, and I thought about just kind of abandoning it, but I was like, you know what? I have like 80 pages left probably. I'm just gonna finish the book. It's very fun, and if you know me, you know I like shitty ocean horror, and this is perfect. That's exactly what this is. So I am also wanting to continue this. I read the first Books of Blood volume by Clive Barker last summer, and I am going to read volume 2 this summer. It was one of my like kind of my favorites of the year. Like it was a really, really good, just classic 80s horror collection. So Clive Barker's a great writer. I'm really excited to read more from him. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to reread this. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I love Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer so much, but it's been a couple years since I read it. So I have been really craving this book lately. It feels very summery to me because it's very like green and overgrown and hot. And I think this is what I'm reading next, perhaps. After my current read, which I'll shout out right now, because I think you would count this as horror. And this is Julia Armfield's Our Wives Under the Sea, literally my most anticipated book of the whole year. I am like 3/4 of the way through it right now, and I'm in love with it. So it's I don't know, these books like weirdly kind of feel similar to me. And that is like the best compliment that I could give this book. I don't know. Anyone else want to talk about that with me? We'll talk once I finish this book. But I think this would count as a horror, so I'm going to put it in this section. Next is something a little corny. I am in the house now that I lived in from the time I was like 15. And so I was like, you know, organizing my bookshelf here. My brother still had like a bunch of my old books and then books from when I was like even younger on my bookshelf. And I was just looking through all of them and I saw this and I thought this was so funny. And I was like, wow, I really have not changed at all. This was called Tales of the Great White, Scary Stories to Sink Your Teeth Into. And I have a few collections like this, old collections now on my bookshelf that I discovered while I was moving back in. I probably read this when I was like 8 to 10. And oh my God, I remember it so vividly. So I think just to have a good time, I'm going to reread this and maybe reread some of the other short story collections. Would anyone like that as like a video of like rereading my childhood favorites? I don't know. Let me know. I'm gonna think about that. Because I have some other ones that aren't like so like weird and niche. Like I would probably read like Coraline and the Graveyard Book and whatever. I feel like that would be fun. Anyways, I'm going to be reading Tales of the Great White, obviously. why not? And then for horror, there are a few books that I have currently on hold or on loan on Libby, and one is Lone Women by Victor LaValle. Honestly, no idea what this book is about, but I really like Victor LaValle, so I'm just excited to read that. I have read maybe all of his books, maybe, and really enjoyed everything that I've read from him, so I'm excited to check this out and just see what it's about. Next is A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. I have read T. Kingfisher before and liked, not like super obsessed with or anything, but like I liked their writing. I had a good time, and this seems to be like a fun like Southern Gothic that I'm really looking forward to. The hold on this though, it says it's like several months or something, so who knows when I will be reading this book. And then another one that I currently have on hold that I think I'll get in a few weeks and is very anticipated for me is The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Khaw. I loved Nothing But Blackened Teeth when I read it last year or the year before. I'm really excited to read this from them. I'm thinking about maybe just buying it. I don't know. I love buying novellas and just like reading them in a day. I don't know. I used to never buy novellas because I couldn't like justify spending the money, but that's so silly. It's so nice. So maybe I'll buy that soon. I really want to read it. It's mermaid horror, which I am super into. Little editor's note here. Excuse the sound of cars driving by. I'm on my porch. It's summer. Do we like the puka shell necklace? Anyways, few horror books that I forgot to mention just because they haven't come out yet, or I just ordered a book like right after filming this video that I kind of like forgot that I was really hyped about. I have been interested, if you followed me last summer, you might remember my like obsession with Michael McDowell and the just his books, the really good 80s horror author, gay Stephen King essentially, and he has a series of 6 books called the Blackwater Saga, and I have been meaning to get into like a big, nice, chunky series lately, and I just ordered a collection of the first 3, and the cover is awesome, and I am super excited about that, so I'm hoping to read that very soon. Also, a couple books that haven't come out yet. The Beast You Are by Paul Tremblay. I am like ridiculously excited for that story collection. Looking at Glass Sound by Catriona Ward. Just learned how to actually pronounce her name. And then I already read this book, but it is coming out in the summer. I got the arc of it, and I think some of y'all would be excited about it, and that's Night's Edge. I can't remember the author's name. I think it's Liz Karen. I really, really enjoyed that book. I gave it a 4 out of 5, and I just wanted to like hop on here and also give that a little promo. It's a new release by Tor. It's a vampire story that's like an allegory for like toxic relationships with your mother, and I just think it's really, really well done, so I just wanted to shout that out. That should be on your summer TBR when it comes out. So, author's note, over. Next, I have some classics, and I just have a few here, but I am wanting to get a few classics just off of my plate. Some books that I've been wanting to read for a long time, and I'm like, this is the year that I'm going to read Dante's Inferno. I have to. I just know I'm really gonna like it. So I'm going to read Dante's Inferno. I'm thinking about taking it to Italy with me because I think that would be cool. I don't know. I also love this edition. Obviously, I'll read like Heaven and Purgatory or whatever, but like this is what we're all here for, you know? I want to read As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner, you know, Southern Gothic classic. I don't really know much about this. I know that his writing is pretty hard to read and he's a shitty guy, but I'm also like, I feel like I just should read this. As somebody who is really into Southern Gothic, like, let's just see what it's about. So I'm hoping to read that soon. And then I want to read Paradise Lost by John Milton. Unfortunately, my college doesn't have a Milton class anymore, and so I won't be able to take it, and so I have to do this on my own. This is just one of those things where it's like, I'm just surprised by the fact that I want to read Milton, but you know what? I do, and I feel like as a literary girl, this is just something I need to read at some point. So those are the classics that I'm really, really hoping to get off of my list. I've been meaning to read these two specifically for like 3 years now. I really hope I read these. I have a couple poetry collections that I would like to read this summer. Felicity by Mary Oliver that my wonderful girlfriend bought for me for my birthday. She went through it before me and wrote like a bunch of notes and like dog-eared her favorite poems and stuff. So I'll read that whenever I'm emotionally ready because it's probably gonna make me cry a lot. Read by Chase Brugren. Both of these were in my birthday vlog, so you might remember them. These are erasure poems using Dracula as a medium, which is super cool. And then I put this in poetry because a lot of it's poetry. So this is the edition of The Peel, which is my college's literary magazine. Wait 1 sec, let me flex. Where is it? I really should like tab this. Here you go. Bam. Check that shit out. That's me. This is my first ever published work. Some Facts About Sharks was in this, and that's just really exciting. But I want to go through and read this and read everyone else's work because some of my friends are in this, some people I don't know are in this, and I'm just excited to see everyone else's work. The next books don't really fit into the genres. Most of them are just like fiction though, so just roll with me here. This is kind of our miscellaneous section. Appalachian Book of the Dead by Dale Neal. This might be horror. I think it's kind of like a crime thing. It's by a local author. It's called Appalachian Book of the Dead. Like, I have to read this. Sorry. That's all I know about it. Moomin and the Comet by Tove Jansson. I love Moomin. If you are new here, come on, get on it. I'm also going to be reading Moomin Summer Madness. Talked about this in my birthday haul. Talked about this in my Christmas haul. Very excited to read both of these. I haven't read either of them before, and I think I'm really gonna enjoy them. And Moomin is just a creation of this Finnish lesbian author in like the 50s? I don't know. Tove Jansson, who is just like so wonderful, and I just love these books so much. They're technically like for kids or middle grade or whatever, but they're a lot more than that to me. Would recommend. And then a few... Hey, do you want to get up? Hi. Okay, a few more books to talk about, just audiobooks that I have on hold or on loan. Yellowface by R.F. Kwan. My girlfriend just read this and said it was really funny and really good, and I'm just excited to check that out. I don't know too much about it. And what else? What do you think? Chlorine by Jade Song. I also don't really know anything about this book, but there's a mermaid on the cover, and it's called Chlorine. So I think I'm going to enjoy it. So that's everything. That is my big summer TBR. I don't know how many books, but I'm sure it is quite a few. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Tell me if you are planning to read any of these this summer. If you have read, did you like them? Did you hate them? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry for my little hiatus. I was very busy. And if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. And we will see you in the next video. Goodbye.